In this video, we will take up the Chapter 5 review homework questions. Question 1, we are just expanding and simplifying. Not much to say except for I would argue like 1D, be careful when you distribute. So for example here, you're multiplying -3 by the trinomial, so fully distribute. That's a very common mistake that students make. Question 2 is a great question. It gives you a lot of practice because when we ask you a factor on a test or a quiz, we are not going to tell you what strategy to use. So you're be all scattered, and you have to establish what the correct technique to use for each factoring question. And remember to always factor fully, which means if you can keep going, you have to keep going. Otherwise, you won't get full marks. And if you're ever in doubt with the factoring question, expand and simplify and see if you factor correctly. Question 3, those questions were basically just combo questions. It required you to use more than one technique to fully factor. So for example, 3A, you had a perfect square trinomial and then a difference of squares. 3B is actually just a chunky difference of squares question. It's not that bad. 3C, it's a common factor of t minus 3 and then followed by a perfect square trinomial, and you actually have a t minus 3 cubed as your final answer. For 3D, you could have let x squared minus 2x equal y to see the simple trinomial. I didn't do it that way, but you could have easily made your life easier by helping you visualize a simple trinomial. But remember, keep factoring, okay? X squared minus 2x minus 3, you can factor to x minus 3 times x plus 1. Remember, factor fully to get full marks. Question 4, you have a trinomial which represents the area of a volleyball court. You factor it and you'll find the dimensions. If I know what x is, I can solve for the actual dimensions, and I can tell you what the area and the perimeter is. For question 5, I'm basically given a rectangular prism. I have the length, width, and height. I can find the volume and the surface area as long as you know the formulas. Just be careful when you expand and simplify. Okay, so number 6, you have a fancy circle question. All you're really doing is factoring, and you'll notice that the area of the radius of the circle is decreased by 9 centimeters. Question 7 is a twist on the Lego L-shaped question. Instead of cutting it to 2 rectangles, you are cutting it into a rectangle and a triangle. Nonetheless, you want to find the area of the 2 parts. You need the 2 dimensions, the base and the height of the triangle, and then you can find the area of the triangle. Yeah, not much to say. So once you find the area of the rectangle and triangle, add them together and you're done. For question 8, you basically have like a donut kind of question. You have the area of the big square subtracted by the area of the smaller square, and whatever's left is the remaining area. Question 9, you want to make a perfect square trinomial. So establish what b is, and you establish what 2ab is. Then you can use that logic to find what a is, and once you have a, you can know what a squared is. So then you can establish that k must be 25. Number 10, you basically want to factor and find the dimensions. Yeah, not much to say there. For 11, you basically have a square and turning it to a rectangle. So one is being increased by 3 and the other is being subtracted by 3. So then guess what? You have a difference of squares. Isn't that beautiful? Because you're multiplying a pair of conjugates. And I can't stress it enough. It's so pretty that when you multiply a binomial with a binomial, still end up with a binomial. That's the beauty of a difference of squares. I find it very interesting. But anyways, so that's chapter 5. I can't wait to do chapter 6 because we are going to use the skill set we've earned here, or we've gained, and we're going to do these interesting questions about quadratic relations that we could not have done before upgrading our algebraic skills.